Hello students, welcome to ACE Online. I am Neelima and I am General Studies faculty and I teach topic 1 on paper 1 for the ESE exam, which is current issues of national and international importance related to social, economic and industrial development. So today I am going to discuss the detailed solutions for the ESE Prelim 2022 examination which was recently held. Well, let's move on to the questions. So I'm looking at set A. So the 20th question, which one of the following policies is concerned with changing the supply of money stock? So as you can see here, so the question that is asked is supply of money stock and the rate of interest for the purpose of stabilizing the economy at full potential output level. So, generally, when we look at general studies or when we look at paper 1 in particular, which is current issues of national and international importance related to social, economic and industrial development. So, when I say economic current issues, the background concepts of economy are always asked by UPSC. So this question, if you look at it, is an economics question, and in particular when we look at it, Indian economy, this is a very, very important area where every year we have a question from this section. And this, we're talking about supply of money. So whenever the word supply of money comes into picture, remember it is always concerned with RBI, because it is RBI which supplies money to banks, and banks in turn supply money into the market. And what happens and how this happens? So banks borrow money from RBI, right? So when banks borrow money from RBI, so we have here, right? So banks are borrowing money from RBI at a certain interest rate, and the banks are lending money into the market at a certain interest rate. So we are talking about money supply, right? And at the rate of interest for the purpose of stabilizing the economy. Now, which of the following policies are there? Clearly, these two are out of question. The confusion might lie between fiscal policy and monetary policy. Now, when we talk about money and RBI, it is always the monetary policy. When we talk about fiscal policy, it is about the government of India, wherein we're talking about the Ministry of Finance, we're talking about income and expenditure. Am I clear? So, what happens? What is the connect? What is the objective of the monetary policy? The objective of the monetary policy is price stability and, growth of the economy. How do you have price stability, or how do they control inflation is based on money supply. Now let me give you a link between, so let's take for example inflation levels, okay, and money supply and interest rates. Let's connect all these things so that we understand things well, okay. Yeah. So case number 1. Let's say inflation levels are already high. What happens when inflation levels are already high, which, prices are high? So at that point in time, we know excess money supply in the market causes inflation. So when there is already inflation, what does RBI say? Let us not increase the money supply further because it will cause further inflation. Therefore, when inflation levels are high, money supply reduces. So, in order to reduce money supply, so we are talking about RBI injecting money into the bank. So, it doesn't want to do it. So, what does it do? It will increase the interest rates, which means when inflation levels are high, interest rates are increase or tend to increase. Second case, when inflation is under control, then what happens? money supply, that is, inflation is fine. So RBI wants to pump in money into the system, into the market. So therefore, what does it do? It increases money supply. So to increase money supply, what does it do? It decreases interest rates. Obviously, right, you and I, we don't want to borrow at high interest rate. We want to borrow at low interest rate. So I hope you all got the connection between inflation levels, money supply, and interest rates. Remember this. So this decision of changing these interest rates is given by RBI under the monetary policy. Under the monetary policy. Am I clear? So we have the Monetary Policy Committee, which is a 6-member body comprising of 3 members from RBI and 3 members appointed, subject matter experts appointed by the Government of India. So these 6 members bi-monthly, once in every 2 months, decide what should be these interest rates depending on inflation. And this is what we call it as the monetary policy. Fiscal policy is about income and expenditure of the government. Okay, so it talks about what should be the fiscal. So fiscal policy deals with fiscal deficit. Okay, fiscal policy deals with what? Fiscal deficit. Whereas monetary policy talks about controlling inflation. Am I clear? So this is just to give in for confusion. So this is not the answer. The answer is monetary policy. Am I clear with this explanation? Okay. So as we have seen, monetary policy is the control of the quantity of money that is, so we are talking about what here? We are talking about money supply available in an economy and the channels by which new money is supplied. So by managing the money supply, a central bank aims to influence the macroeconomic factors. Here we are talking about inflation, price stability, right, growth and so on, including inflation, the rate of consumption, economic growth and overall liquidity. Liquidity, we are talking about money flow. Am I clear? So remember, monetary policy is given by RBI. Okay. Fiscal policy is given by the government. This deals with monetary policy, deals with what? It deals with controlling inflation and it talks about money supply. And it talks about money supply. So control money supply. So through what? Through interest rates. Fiscal policy talks about fiscal deficit. When we say fiscal deficit, we are talking about income and expenditure of the government. We say it should be around 2 to 3% of GDP is what we have as the target. That is the fiscal deficit. Am I clear? I hope it is clear. I hope you will have understood what is the difference between the monetary policy and the fiscal policy. All right, let's move on to the next question. Which one of the following is not covered under the International Labour Organization Declaration on Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work? So, this is again one of the background concepts which we talk under international organizations. So, the International Labour Organization, they're asking about the fundamental principles and rights at work. So, freedom of association, the right to collective bargaining, the elimination of forced and compulsory labor, abolition of child labor. So, all these 3 are part of the fundamental principles. However, there is no principle related to migration. So, what is the question here? So which of the following is not covered? Remember, always, remember that, you have to look at the question carefully. They're asking which is not covered. So answer D, this is not covered. And if you see here the categories, yeah, you can see here freedom of association and the effective recognition of the right to collective bargaining, elimination of forced or compulsory labor, abolition of child labor, and elimination of discrimination in respect of employment and occupation. So discrimination in employment and occupation. These are the four areas or the four categories in which the ILO promotes the principles and rights for the workers. Okay, let's move on to the next question. DRDO, the Defense Research and Development Organization, which is based in Hyderabad, has successfully test-fired medium-range subsonic cruise missile Nirbhay from the Integrated Test Range at. So it has in Chandipur, Odisha. So this is a current affairs question which has been asked, and generally we get questions related to defense, or launches. It can be all these missiles. Then we also have questions based on satellites and so on, right? So these are general questions which come. So it was in Chandipur. So that is Nirbhay, which is a 1,000 kilometers range. It's a subsonic cruise missile. Next question. Now, awards. Recently, we see the trend of UPSC asking question on awards. Previously, it used to not ask such type of questions, but now we see these awards. And this is regarding the Khel Ratna Award. Khel Ratna Award. Again, the question is which of the following is not correct regarding Khel Ratna Award. So this award, Khel Ratna Award, was actually constituted in the year 1991-92. Okay, and it of course comprises a medal and a certificate and a cash prize, all the three. But it is not 15 lakhs. It is not 15 lakhs. It is around 25 lakhs. Okay, and the first recipient of the Khel Ratna Award was given to the chess maestro Vishwanathan Anand. That's the right statement. And mind you, the Khel Ratna Award was previously called as the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award, and then now we have renamed it to Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award. You all know Major Dhyan Chand, the hockey legend, right? So the answer is which of the following is not correct? So B is the answer. There you can see it is known as the Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award, formerly known as the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award. It's the highest sporting honor of India. Mind you, the Khel Ratna Award is the highest sporting honor of India. Okay, and it is awarded annually by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. It comprises of a medal, certificate, cash prize of 25 lakhs, constituted in the year starting from 1991-92, given by the best performance. So basically you have a committee which is there, which assesses the performance of all the top international events like, Commonwealth Games, Olympics. It will see the performance and then judge who is the best in that. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. How many Indian companies have found a place in 2021 Fortune's Global 500 list? Now, this is a very, very generic, it's a very GK kind of a question. It's a, general knowledge question. So, if you see totally around 7, and you can see there. So, 7 companies have found its place. So, it is measured based on their business revenues, please. Okay. So, here you have, these are the, of course, number 1 is for India, number 1 is Reliance, then SBI, and you have Indian Oil and Natural Gas, ONGC, Rajesh Exports, Tata Motors, and Bharat Petroleum. These are the top companies which have made it to the global Fortune 500 list. Global companies, the top companies, if you see, these are the top companies of the world. And Walmart happens to be number 1 for the last, around so many years together, it is number 1. So Walmart, the supermarket chain in the United States. And if you see the number of companies of China, so you have 1, 2, 3 of China there. Okay, so 3 companies have made it to the top 10 for the global companies. Okay, the next one. Which of the following is not important initiatives under ESE 4.0? So what is this ESE 4.0? These are banking reforms that have been given. Now let's look at what it is. So it is a reform for the public sector banks, that is the government banks, to ensure smart banking. So the whole concept of ESE is revolving around what? It is revolving around smart banking. So it was presented by the finance minister to be implemented by the Indian Banks Association, IBA in short. And the key issues touched upon in this reforms are co-lending with non-banking firms. So banks come along with NBFCs, non-banking firms, digital agriculture financing, and technological resilience for 24/7 banking. So basically, we're talking about 24/7 smart banking and so on. So emphasis has been given to data analytics, automation, and digitization. That's the whole idea. So these are the 4 key aspects under ESE 4.0. So digital lending, mobile, internet banking and customer service, data-enabled agricultural financing, and collaborating with financial ecosystem. So this is the theme of ESE 4.0. We had ESE 4.3 that became a success. So now we have come with ESE 4.0. Now let's come to the question here. Which of the following is not important initiatives under ESE? Obviously, smart lending is there. We're talking about 24/7 banking with resilient technology. We're talking about collaborative banking for synergistic outcomes. So that's what we had seen here, right? So collaborating with financial ecosystem. It is not related to the parameters of financial inclusion. FI index is financial inclusion index. It's financial inclusion index. So financial inclusion index is given by RBI, which measures financial inclusion. That is, what is financial inclusion? We are talking about providing banking services and facilities to all unbanked areas. So the parameters of financial inclusion is ease of access, availability, and usage. Those are the parameters. So ESE 4.0 is not talking about financial inclusion at all. Okay, so it is only talking about how smart, you're going into the smart banking aspects of it. Okay, therefore the answer is D. So parameters of financial inclusion is not part of ESE 4.0. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Which of the following statements is not correct regarding the Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority, in short PFRDA? Okay, so a set of statements are given here. The first one, we're talking about the age. It has increased the age entry for the national pension system from 60 to 65 years. True, it was there 60 to 65. Now, recent initiative, they said we'll make it they have made it 70 years. Okay, so again, the question is not correct. Okay, so the first statement is not correct because now the age limit has been increased to 70 years. The others, earlier the eligible to invest was 18 to 65 years, which has now been revised from 18 to 70 years. This is true. As per the revised norms, any Indian citizen, resident or non-resident and overseas citizen of India between the age of 65 to 70 years can join NPS, which is again true. And subscribers can continue or defer their NPS account up to the age of 75 years. This is also true. The first statement is false because it is up to 70 years. So there we see it is given by the Ministry of Finance. And what does the PFRDA do? It is for the overall supervision and regulation of pension in India. So as you can see, up to 70 years of age are allowed to open an NPS account. Previously, they had increased I mean, the earlier pension fund, PFRDA had increased the maximum age of joining under NPS from 60 to 65. Now, anybody from the age, between, say, any citizen or government of, overseas citizen or anybody, they are allowed up to 70 years of age, and they can also defer their account up to 75 years. That's what we see here. Okay. So the answer is A, this one. That's the wrong statement. Next question. World's largest sapphire cluster has been found where? It was found in Ratnapura, Sri Lanka. Sapphire, the gemstone. Okay, it's also entered in the Guinness Book of Records, and that sapphire stone has been named as Serendipity Sapphire. It's a pale blue color stone, sapphire, and weighs over 300 kgs and was found in a gem pit in July 2021. So that is that's from Sri Lanka. So that's the answer. So if you see, these are some of the countries where you have gemstones. So that is the reason these options were given. Let's move on to the next one. This is related to cybersecurity, multi-door trust fund. Now, the World Bank has launched this cybersecurity multi-donor trust fund, and this is for developing cybersecurity in a systematic manner. It has been associated, and the trust has been formed under the Digital Development Partnership, which is an umbrella program. And the question is, World Bank has partnered with 4 countries, namely Estonia, Japan, Germany, and the Netherlands, to launch the fund. So which of the following statements, are correct? All the 3 are correct. So the answer is 1, 2, and 3. All the 3 are correct, as you can see. So this program will offer a comprehensive cybersecurity capacity development, which will include development of global knowledge, country assessments, technical assistance, capacity building, and training, underpinned with necessary investments in infrastructure and technology. So this launch of this trust fund has been possible with donor contribution from these countries: Estonia, Germany, Japan, and the Netherlands. Okay, so that is the trust fund. It's a trust fund on cyber security and announced by the World Bank. Okay, and it is under which one? Digital Development Partnership. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements regarding hydrogen breakthrough iron making technology. Now, hydrogen breakthrough iron make, these statements have been given. Let's go and then come back to these. Let's go and see what this is. Okay, so what is hybrid? Hybrid is hydrogen breakthrough iron making technology. Okay, that is hybrid, and this is effort to reduce. What is the whole idea of hybrid is? It is to reduce carbon dioxide emissions and decarbonize the steel industry. This focus is on steel industries. Now, basically, when steel when we are making steel, the technology that is used for in the steel industry is the blast furnace. Okay, so wherein coal is burnt at very high temperatures, the blast furnace technology. Here we are talking about having a solution which will be fossil free, that is coal and coke, all these won't be used. That is what we are talking about, which will use it is going to replace, or the hybrid technology involves replacing the blast furnace process. So blast furnace will be replaced by what? So what does blast furnace use? It uses carbon and coke to remove the oxygen from iron ore with a direct reduction process where fossil is used. Here we are talking about, we use fossil-free hydrogen produced from water using electricity from fossil-free energy resources. So instead of carbon dioxide, what is emitted is water vapor. That's the whole idea. That is why we are talking about decarbonization, which is so important, right? So emission of carbon dioxide is not there. What happens is, water vapor is formed. So the first delivery of this green steel. So today we're talking about this green steel, right? So because the process of formation, the process is done using, one, we are using renewable resources. Two, we are not using fossil, I mean it's fossil free. That's the whole idea, and carbon dioxide is not emitted. Okay. So this was done in Sweden by hybrid to truck manufacturer Volvo. They have done it, they have supplied the first green steel to this company Volvo, right? So this is owned by this company called SSAB, which is a Swedish based company. So they started to test operations at this plant for fossil free steel in Luleå, northern Sweden, a year ago. Okay. So this green steel is owned by this company called SSAB. Now let's come back here. So the first thing, Swedish green steel venture hybrid, which had made the world's first customer delivery of steel produced with using coal, they said. Obviously, if you say, I mean, even if you didn't know this, when you're saying green, you cannot say using coal. So this is wrong. This statement is wrong, right? It is not using coal. Then we are talking about 100% fossil free hydrogen instead of coal and coke. That's what it is. The steel has been made using hydrogen breakthrough iron making technology, which uses 100% fossil free, which is right. And the venture has started delivering the fossil free steel to the Volvo group as part of its trial run. So it has given the steel as part of its trial run. So this is also true. The answer is B, 2 and 3. Okay. As part of its trial run, it has given this. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. US-based Ohmium International has started India's first green hydrogen electrolyzer manufacturing unit at. Now, green hydrogen, we see there are two questions. Always remember, current issues based on environment also are very important, and we had discussed all these questions related to green hydrogen in the ace.online videos. Okay, so the answer here is Bengaluru, Karnataka. So if you see, the factories manufacturing India-made proton exchange membrane, in short called PEM, hydrogen electrolyzers. So green hydrogen is made from non-fossil sources as against blue hydrogen that is made from fossil sources. So green hydrogen is made from non-fossil sources. So let's talk a little bit about this hydrogen electrolyzer gigafactory which has been set up in Bangalore. So it is going to manufacture India-made proton exchange membrane or PEM hydrogen. Okay, electrolyzers with an initial manufacturing capacity of about 500 megawatts per year and will scale it up to 2 gigawatts per year. That's the target. So in the PEM hydrogen electrolyzer is the main equipment for the production of this green hydrogen. So the PEM electrolyzer, the hydrogen electrolyzer is the main equipment for production of green hydrogen, as it uses power generated from renewable sources to break water into hydrogen and oxygen. So basically, when your emission is not carbon dioxide, when it is water and oxygen, that becomes green. Next question. Which one of the following ministries has repealed the UAS, that is unmanned aircraft systems? What are unmanned aircraft system also called as? Another name for that, very popular name is drones. Unmanned, right? Aerial vehicles, or you talk about aircraft systems, rules 2021, and replace the same with liberalized drone rules 2021. Again, this question was discussed in the class. So which of this? Obviously the drone rules, all this comes under the Ministry of Civil Aviation. They have given it. So basically what happened was, in March 2021 the rules were already given. Okay, so they were called as the UAS rules 2021. Then the academia, the startups, all the other stakeholders saw these rules as being very restrictive in nature. Okay, and it involved a lot of paperwork, lot of permissions and so on, and this was like a setback. So based on this feedback, again, the government decided to repeal this UAS rules 2021 and they replaced that with this liberalized drone rules 2021. Okay, so that is what the unmanned aircraft systems, commonly known as drones. So, they are very important. They are almost, they benefit almost all the sectors of the economy, like you talk about agriculture, mining, and wherever there is, limited accessibility for humans to reach. You talk about terraneous regions and very remote locations and so on. It is of going to be tremendous importance. So, and once again, it will be, it will create a lot of employment in the country. Economic growth will be there because of the reach, and inaccessible areas can be reached. So, all this, considering all this, it has a high potential in India, and the drones, and India can become a global hub by 2030. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding Forum for Decarbonizing Transport. So we have Niti Aayog and World Resource Institute. Niti Aayog, the National Institution for Transforming India, and World Resource Institute, India, they have jointly launched the Forum for Decarbonizing Transport in India. So we're talking about Forum for Decarbonizing Transport. So when we say decarbonizing, obviously we're talking about emissions, right? Carbon emissions. So what are we doing so that we reduce carbon emissions? Obviously, electric vehicles, all of you know that, right? So Niti Aayog is the implementing partner for India, and the aim of the project is to bring down the peak level of the GHG emissions in Asia in line with a well below 2-degree pathway, resulting in problems like congestion and air pollution. Which of the following statements are correct? Okay, so all the three are correct. So if you see here, all the three are correct. So Niti Aayog and World Resources Institute India, they have formed this, they have launched this, and this is part of the initiative called as the NDC Transport Initiative for Asia. Okay, so that's the NDC is the transport, we're talking about the transport initiative. The project aims to bring down the peak level of the GHG emissions in that, because transport sector is considered as 90% of the carbon emissions are because of transportation sector, right? So in Asia, with a well below 2-degree pathway, resulting in problems like congestion and air pollution. So this NDC TIA India component, it focuses on what? It focuses on effective policies and the formation of a platform so that we can decarbonize transport in the country. And this is in partnership with Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog becomes the implementation agency we have in India. Right? So what are they doing? They're formulating strategies to develop appropriate business models to accelerate electric mobility in India. Okay, that is what it is. So that they reduce emissions from the transportation sector. So as you can see here, so we are talking about adoption of how do you decarbonize road transportation. We are talking about adoption of electric vehicles. That's the whole idea. Okay, and Niti Aayog has been the helm of the promotion of electric vehicles and sustainable mobility through the National Mission on Transformative Mobility and Battery Storage. That's the whole thing. National Mission on Transformative Mobility and Battery Storage. Let's move on to the next question. Which of the following national parks has become the first national park in India to be equipped with satellite phones? Now, why do you first of all require satellite phones? Mobile phones is sufficient, right? But what if it is remote place and they do not have access, there are no mobile signals and so on, therefore the use of satellite phones. So the Kaziranga National Park in Assam is the park which is, it is having a large area, and there's a lot of issues in terms of mobile network and connectivity and so on. That is the reason they have equipped this. BSNL is providing this facility for them, just for your information. Okay, so that is what it is. It was taken to provide assistance to prevent poaching and ensure coordinated functioning. Why? Which animal is very famous in Kaziranga National Park? We have the one-horned rhino, okay, and that is found only in Kaziranga. That is the reason we need to protect, and it is poached. Therefore, this is for to provide assistance to prevent this poaching. Next question. Which one of the following cities has been named as the world's safest city among the 60 global cities in Safe Cities Index 2021, which is given by the Economist Intelligence Unit? And the answer is Copenhagen. So Copenhagen, which is the capital city of Denmark, that has been named as the world's safest city among the 60 global cities, which is given in the Safe Cities Index by the Economist Intelligence Unit. Just about a little bit about what you should know about this index. So it's a global policy benchmarking tool which is developed to measure global urban safety. This was first released in the year 2015, and in 2021, cities are ranked based on 76 indicators of security across 5 broad pillars, categories, 5 broad categories. And what are these categories? It is digital, health, infrastructure, personal, and environmental. So based on these 5 categories, right, 76 indicators, they measure this, and that's what it is. Just to give you a look at how India, I mean, this is the score that we have. So it's given based on 0 to 100. So very high safety is 75 to 100. So safety 0 to 25 is low safety, 25 above 25 to 50 is medium safety, greater than 50 to 75 is high safety, and very high safety is above 75. So if you look at India, Delhi and Mumbai have found a place in the index. New Delhi is at the 48th position with a score of 56. So 56 is high safety, and while Mumbai is in the score of 54, again high safety. So these are the world's top 10 safest cities. That's Copenhagen is number 1. So you have Toronto, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo, Wellington, Hong Kong, Melbourne, and Stockholm. So these are the top, there's Amsterdam after Tokyo. I forgot to mention that. So these are the top 10 safest cities in the world. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. The first ever G20 Ministerial Conference on Women's Empowerment was held it was held in Santa Margherita Ligure in Italy. It was held there. So G20, the group 20. So we have G20 summits, we have economic summit, lot of summits keep happening. The whole objective is about, countries coming together, the top 20 economies of the world. So when we say the top 20 countries of the world, it includes 19 countries plus the European Union. Okay. So all of them come together. So it was held in Santa Margherita in Italy. And people this year, of course, because of the pandemic, they participated both online and offline. And of course, because it is women empowerment, our Minister Smriti Irani had represented India. Okay. Now, what is the objective, or what is the objective of this summit is we talk about a development of women and girls in all spheres. So you talk about STEM, financial and digital literacy, environment, and sustainability. So what is it? Let's just look at that one here. So on behalf of India, as I said, Smriti Irani had actually the Union Minister of Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, had addressed the meet. Okay. So India has confirmed its commitments towards addressing gender and women-centric issues through mutual cooperation. So that is about the G20 Ministerial Conference on Women's Empowerment. So the focus is on women empowerment. The focus is on women empowerment. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and it includes financial and digital literacy and environment and sustainability also. The last question under current issues: which one of the following countries did the Indian Navy participate in the US Navy-led Southeast Asia Cooperation and Training, in short called as CCAT, military exercise to demonstrate its maritime maneuvers? Now, we see that a lot of India participates with a lot of countries for military exercises, cooperation. The idea is to have military cooperation among countries. So we generally do it with, friendly countries. So the question is, in which of the following countries did this happen? Which one? CCAT. And the answer is Singapore. Okay. So there you see. The Indian Navy participated in CCAT military exercise, Singapore, to demonstrate its maritime maneuvers. The main objective of CCAT was to enhance the interoperability and shared maritime security. So as I said, we talk about cooperation, military cooperation. So we do it we do it for the Navy, we do it as part of the military exercise, and we also do it for Air Force also. So all the three of the defense, we do it. Now, CCAT was held for the first time in 2002. And what is the aim of CCAT is it aims to foster enhanced cooperation between Southeast Asian countries by incorporating standardized training, tactics, and procedures when faced with crisis, contingencies, or illegal activities in the maritime domain. So this is CCAT is for India's cooperation with the Southeast Asian nations. Thank you so much. So this was the discussion of the ESE 2022 prelims paper. And you can always download our app, which is ace.online, and register for courses which you can study online, and you can also take your offline classes or a combination of both online and offline. Thank you so much. Let's come to the next question, the last question, the statement questions, the 100th question. Social involvement. So social involvement discourages additional government regulation and intervention. So the first statement, social involvement, what does this word social involvement? It means you're talking about individuals or institutions involving themselves in social progress. So the statement says it discourages additional government regulation. No, that's not true. It is false, because it encourages additional government regulation. Now, why would a government want to be involved or have regulations? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what we look at is social or well-being of the society. And it is important that the government has certain regulations for the well-being of the society. So therefore, statement 1 is false. Let's come to the second statement. Social involvement can create a weakened international balance of payments situation. Now, what is balance of payments? Balance of payments is the payments between your imports and the net of your imports and exports. So, when we talk about social involvement, the impact of any kind of regulations can definitely affect imports and exports. Therefore, it can create, mind you, they do not say it will create, it can create a weakened international balance of payments. Like recently, there was this negative propaganda about Hyundai Motors in Pakistan, and that created an impact in India. Okay, so we see that some kind of, when you have individuals or any other organizations or institutions involving, they can create an impact on imports and exports. So therefore, statement 2 is true. Okay, so when statement 1 is false and 2 is true, the option or the answer is D. So that's the answer. All right, thank you.